Thank you. Then now it's my pleasure to invite our next panelist, Tibor Kapu, to the stage. Tibor is a mechanical engineer by training. His early career spanned diverse sectors, including the pharmaceutical industry, hybrid car battery, and space radiation protection for astronaut applications. In May 2024, Tibor was selected as part of Hungary's National Research Astronaut Program, the HUNOR Hungarian to Orbit program. He went on to participate as mission specialist for Axiom Mission 4, which launched on 25th of June 2025 toward the ISS. Tibor Kapu is not only an astronaut, but a bridge figure, bridging engineering and exploration, national programs, and commercial access, and Earth-based industry and orbital operations. Tibor, it's an honor to have you with us, and the floor is yours. Thank you.
All right, people, hi. My name is Tibor. I don't know if I should press a button now to start my presentation, or you guys will take care of it. I have no clue. Anyway, thank you for having me. My presentation came together in the last minute, so I'm still a little bit nervous now. I have no idea if the video that's embedded in the slides will actually work, so I'm actually quite nervous, but we'll see how it goes. I will press, okay. Let me know when the presentation is ready to go. Oh yeah, okay, Liz tells me that I should dance for you guys, which is not gonna happen for sure, okay. Awesome. So, thank you for having me. For those of you who are, particular about grammar or anything, you can already spot the first mistake on the slide. I'm Tibor, not Thibaut. I just noticed this also with you. So this is gonna be a great presentation. I promise that. I think it's going well. Anyway, so welcome to my AX-4 flight review. I got the honor to present you our mission, which was very recent. The reason for me presenting it, because all the other guys are way too busier than me, so they didn't show up. But I'm really, really honored and lucky that I can talk to you about our mission. We were indeed flying with Axiom, as Koichi mentioned earlier, and in my eyes, Axiom right now has 3 pillars, as Koichi mentioned. So one of the pillars indicated by Peggy, my commander, is indeed the private astronaut mission pillar, so they are flying private astronauts to the ISS. They are building their own spacesuit in collaboration with all the companies as well. I always suggested them that they have Prada, they have Oakley, they should also do Nike boots. They didn't go for my idea yet. I hope it will work out for them. And then they are also building Axiom Station. So we had the incredible luck and privilege to join this endeavor of the company, basically in the past year. So this slide is in the deck because obviously we did not communicate with Koichi regarding which slides we will use for our presentations, and the next one is going to be similar. And also, we had the idea that I will be the first presenter today, so I thought that I can talk to you about ISS and how it will be decommissioned in 2030 and etc. But it has been in every presentation so far, so we will skip this now. Awesome, this presentation is indeed going very well. I think this slide is also very familiar for you guys, but I want to add some more to this because Koichi showed the same slide to you guys. What I want to highlight is that when Space Shuttle retired a long time ago, US lost the capability to launch their American astronauts to the ISS, right? So SpaceX came and they launched the first humans, Bob and Doug, in 2020. So 2 years later, Axiom was already flying their first private commercial mission, which was actually pretty incredible. So 2022, Axiom 1 mission was on board ISS. Those were private guys. We are very lucky that Aitan is here with us. Axiom 2 mission was already a little bit different because it wasn't only private guys, but they were flying 2 astronauts from Saudi. Actually, they were flying the first Saudi woman to space. Rihanna, she was also joking many times that Saudi had a women astronaut before they had a woman taxi driver. So it is indeed a huge impact mission. And then came AX-4, the first all-European mission, because indeed MLA, he also has the Spanish national, the Spanish passport, and they were all fighter pilots. And then came AX-4 with our mission, which is basically, again, 4 different countries like AX-4, but it was also something a little bit more special because, or special at least for us, because all the 3 countries besides US, so Poland, India, and Hungary, we had to wait more than 40 years for our astronauts to fly again. So from all the 3 nations, we were the second ones. Shuks, Sławos, and me, I will introduce these guys to you a little bit in details. So basically, we can start with Poland when it comes to chronological order. General Hermaszewski, he flew in 1978. And then Bertalan Farkas, who is also here with us, the first Hungarian astronaut, he flew in 1980. And then Rakesh Sharma, he flew in 1984. Ever since then, there were no Hungarian, no Indian, and no Polish astronauts in space. And we were actually the first from our nation to fly to the ISS. That is the reason why our motto for our mission was realizing the return, because this was indeed a huge return for all of our countries. So you can see that Axiom how it has been progressing in the past years, which I think is a really, really nice story. Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about our mission. So I told you that we had 4 nations, and actually with the whole realizing the return topic, and also we were the most science-heavy crew to date with Axiom. We had 60 scientific research, 60 experiments, which was actually a pretty large number. We were super, super busy. But what I also want to say is that besides experiments and besides research, outreach and just shooting videos, introducing ISS, doing physics lessons with the kids or for the kids is equally as important. Why? Because our countries have not been to space for a very, very long time. So obviously we will shoot videos in Polish, we will shoot videos in Hungarian. So we talk a lot about our experiments, and I will talk a lot about those later, but doing outreach, reaching our population back in our nations, that's, for my point of view, is equally as important. Okay, so we will stop a little bit here now, because this is where the video comes. So this should be a 4.5 minutes video. I included that so I don't have to talk for 4.5 minutes. We were very lucky because Koichi also had 2 videos, and this is a different one. But, and I blame myself, this is from YouTube, so it might not work. And if it works, it might have an like an ad in the beginning. I'm not on commission of any company which is coming, but we will see. So that's a scary man over there, and I really hope that my colleagues will help me. No ads. Perfect.
Quando 3 ou 5 que tem uma bandeira no meu ombro esquerdo, só quero que todo mundo saiba que nós conseguimos. Conseguimos isso. E não importa para mim quem está por trás. Estou orgulhoso, mas quero que eles também estejam. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 e decolagem. Para 3 nações, um novo planeta no espaço igual. Vocês ganharam velocidade para bem-vindos e rápidos para dentro. uma sensação incrível estar em órbita pela primeira vez. Quando olhei pela janela pela primeira vez, a vista era simplesmente deslumbrante. Uau, que viagem foi essa? Mas quando a viagem começou, foi como se você fosse empurrado para trás do assento. Foi uma viagem incrível e, de repente, nada. Foi uma sensação incrível. Também gostaríamos de agradecer a vocês, basicamente, a todos ao redor do mundo e a cada pessoa, a cada equipe que fez esse lindo dia acontecer. Nossa, parabéns! Bem-vindos a bordo desta... Acho que é muito importante ter esses exemplos de pessoas para mostrar à nova geração jovem que, na verdade, não há fronteiras. Seus sonhos, suas carreiras e suas vidas não têm limites. É com isso que você sonha, então você pode perseguir.
Awesome. So I will explain what happened here. This is the first time I see this video in this format, let's say. You saw in the beginning of the video that we trained together for a year, right? So we do a lot of things. We train with NASA, we train with SpaceX, and we also have a lot of trainings which are managed by Axiom Space. So basically 3 pillars also of the training, right? So we do, escaping trainings from a helicopter. We do centrifuge training. We did sea kayaking training in Mexico. So all of these trainings are, pinpointing certain aspects of the space flight which are really, really important when it comes to flying to space and when it comes to, bonding with the whole crew. So with our 1-year-long training, we also learn Portuguese. And all of us are speaking in the same voice in Portuguese. So this was our gift to you guys. Obviously, that did not happen, but I'm really glad that I speak, as good Portuguese as Julie. Anyway, so this was an automatic feature of YouTube. Thank you very much for the technology. As we progress, we also introduce our, problems for ourselves, which I was not aware about. But anyway, the good thing about YouTube is that you can always look back this video, which is called AX-4 Mission Recap, so you can watch it. All right, back to the topic. This is our launch. This is one of my favorite pictures, but actually my favorite picture is the next one. But I just wanted to stop here for a second. So before launch, we are in quarantine, right? So a quarantine should be 14 days long because you don't want to, infect anyone on ISS, and also because our mission is a short mission. So we were about to fly to ISS for 14 days. Fortunately, it ended up 18 for us, altogether 20 because it was basically a day going up and basically a day coming down. So it was 20 days in space. But within that 14, or for us 18 days, you really want to perform from basically day one. So you cannot afford yourself, you just cannot be sick, right? You have to be basically 100% all the time. So you go to quarantine for, again, 14 days before mission, because you don't want to be sick, and you also don't want others to be sick. So for us, 14 days was actually 32. And for the reason that we were sleeping for like a lot of reasons, and that's the dynamic nature of human spaceflight, as we call it. ISS was leaking, or basically we had like an anomaly of leakage. The Falcon 9 was leaking. We had weather issues, so we had many, many reasons. The most powerful person and the richest person on the world, they got fight in a Twitter. So they said that, yeah, Dragon doesn't have to fly. And then a random lady commented that you guys should grow up. So we had a flight again. So we had many, many reasons. Actually, that was the night we opened the bottle of wine. But after so many hurdles, on 25th of June, we started our journey to space. Falcon 9 is the technology of SpaceX. The launch itself is an amazing ride. The first stage basically burns out in like 2.5 minutes. The whole rocket itself, with the payload, almost is like 550 tons. In order to lift that and leave the gravity of Earth, basically, the whole rocket itself, it has 707 tons of thrust. So out of that 550 tons, majority of that is fuel. So out of that fuel, we burn 420 tons in the first 2.5 minutes, which is an insane number. So after 2.5 minutes, we reach 3 Gs. 3 times our body mass is, our body weight is on our chests. And then we separate from the first stage. The second stage will propel us forward, and we reach 4.5 Gs 6 minutes later. At that point, we are 200 kilometers above the surface of Earth, and we are 27,000 kilometers per hour, and we are already orbiting Earth. The whole thing takes basically 8.5, a little bit more minutes, and it was the ride of our lives. So I loved it really much. The next one is one of my favorite pictures. We had a launch at 2:30 a.m. In Florida, and that is the moment when the first stage separates from the second. So if you look really, really closely, there's a small white dot in the middle of the screen. That's where we are. So that's the moment when the vacuum Merlin engine just starts to light up, and all the fuel and all the propulsion is just around us. This was a beautiful moment. Whenever you have a chance to watch a night launch, you should do it, because the rocket is so powerful. It has so much fuel that it basically lights up the night sky and creates daylight for a few seconds. It is really, really, really unbelievable. So, talking about our science, we indeed did 60 scientific experiments, and those scientific experiments, they span a huge, range of technology or range of scientific fields. This was one of my favorite, and I want to talk about a little bit about not only this science, but in general a lot of things. So this one was actually my experiment. That black sphere that's in the middle, that should rotate, and we were about to put that 250 milliliters of water around that sphere. But obviously, which we didn't think about, because of surface tension, mainly because of surface tension, water wants to create a bubble of itself. So it really didn't want to go and basically hug that sphere around, right? Once it did, and it eventually did, we were working on that with Peggy for 45 minutes. Peggy, she was my commander. I will talk about my crew in the last slide. We did this, this was a 4-hand operation. This was really, really demanding. After 45 minutes, we managed to reach this state when the water was really, hugging, and we put some white tracer materials with syringes inside, so you can see it's a little bit more white and not so transparent. We were rotating the whole thing, and we were shooting videos with 4K cameras, so we can see how the tracer materials rotate in water. Because of this, we were able to simulate how gas giants in our solar system work. So we could investigate how Jupiter works, and we could investigate how Saturn works. So this was just one of the physics experiments that we did. We also did a lot of other things. When it comes to physics, we also did a lot of scientific outreach, as I said. So we did specific microgravity experiments so kids can see how microgravity works. One of my favorite moments is when the Indian researchers just came up with the idea that maybe Shuks, he was my Indian colleague, he should do a water bubble. He should put like an air bubble inside the water bubble, which is all right, which you can do. And then he should put another water bubble in the air bubble, which is inside the water bubble. So we called it the bubble in a bubble in a bubble experiment. He was working with that for 4 days. It was, and that was all hands on deck. So our colleagues from the US crew, they were also helping a lot. Physics lessons and physics experiments are the hardest actually on the space station. We also did technological demonstrations. So this is one of our dosimeters. This one is the size of a matchbox, not more, 55 grams. It measures a lot of environmental data, so not only radiation. A dosimeter is something which measures the amount of radiation that has been, colliding basically with the device. It also measures a lot of environmental data, like basically content of O2 or air pressure, temperature, amount of light, etc., etc. But it also does with special algorithms and special semiconductor technology, so it can stay awake. So the battery life is basically months and months. This was one of our products that we actually brought to ISS as a demonstration. Ever since then, this company, this is a Hungarian company, it has been doing pretty well because we were able to demonstrate that their product actually works on ISS. We also did another software integration. We used our only, basically iPhones, and we did special apps on them, so we can track the position and basically the path of the phones without any GPS. That would be useful when it comes to applications in caves where you have no GPS and you have to save people. We can actually retrack where they have been. This was the first software integration that Axiom did when it came to the missions, when it came to the 4 PAM missions. We also did a lot of biology. This was one of my favorite experiments. I'm a mechanical engineer. I never thought that raising plants will be one of my favorite things to do, but it was indeed. We were bringing radishes, wheat, and pepper to, or actually paprika, to the station. And this picture is one of my favorite because it shows that the radishes are indeed grown. So I did a good job. But also, this is inside a special plastic germination device, basically. Everything which comes regarding the plants, that's one university in Hungary, and then the other one is another university in Hungary. So the 3D printed germination box comes from another university. So this was a huge collaboration, involving 2 universities and our space program, which highlights that all of these countries, Poland, India, and Hungary, we were actually making an open call to all of our countries, saying it to any universities, any companies that, hey, if you have an idea that you want to conduct in space, maybe we can work on it and we can make an experiment out of it together. And this is one of the best examples of that. This was actually the first planned experiment on ISS which could use its own vegetation box and did not have to use any more sophisticated isolated device which is already on ISS. So we did a lot of these. I don't really have pictures, but we also flew fruit flies because we were investigating their DNAs, and actually we were investigating special enzymes. So if they can repair their DNA, then we can actually incorporate those special enzymes in long-term space flight. Why do we do that? Actually, when it comes to ISS has 2 unique selling points. 2 things that you can only do on ISS. There is microgravity, there is weightlessness, so you can use that, or there is a little bit more natural cosmic radiation. So when it comes to radiation, it has ionizing particles, it can damage DNA, and enzymes are there to fix that if they can. So with our fruit flies, we were measuring or we were actually investigating if those enzymes can work a little bit more or a little bit less. We were also flying tardigrades because they have very special characteristics, very, very small animals, basically, if we can call them animals, and they can survive in very harsh environments, and we were tracking and analyzing their gene expressions. We were tracking their revival and the growth rates, and we actually did that with tardigrades, as I mentioned, but we also did that with microalgae. So we did a lot of biological experiments even so that I actually had to, create some, notes for myself. But I think I pretty much mentioned it all. So this is one of the experiments that Shooks did. This is one of the biological experiments. I think this is regarding cyanobacteria or the microalgae. This was not my experiment, so he knows much more. I included this picture because he was the only one who could, who we could make a picture about in this fashion, because he's the only one without a bald spot. I'm not, and Swabosh is not. So that's why we included him in the Life Sciences glove box, so he can do his experiments. And apart from all the video shooting and all the experiments, we also tried to have some fun. Didn't always work, but this is also one of my favorite pictures. I really liked what Drew said regarding, or Drew showed regarding how Haven 1 will look like. Obviously, Haven 1 will not look like this. I mean, ISS is very, very crowded. It's full of wires, and it's full of cables. You have to be really careful to not touch any of them. There are special UTP cables which are actually just covered by my left thigh on this picture. If you pull them out, there is no internet for one day. You will not be the most popular guy on ISS on that day, and nor in Houston nor anywhere else in the world. So we indeed try to have some fun. We are actually getting close to my presentation finally, luckily. Show me your hands, and I don't mean you guys because you guys know, but these guys, show me your hands if you know what a 1.0 CTB is. You can also raise your hands if you want. Okay, 1.0 CTB is basically our IKEA box on the station. So 1.0 CTBs are the boxes which we keep stuff in. 1.0 is just a number, is just a unit, meaning that 2.0 is twice as big. So we also have 4.0 CTBs, which are like maybe this big, sort of. 1.0 CTB, if I'm showing it correctly, I think it's something like this. So we have 2.0, we have actually 0.5, which is half as big as 1.0, and we also have 10.0 CTBs. So when it comes to fun, 10.0 CTB is so large that actually it can incorporate 3 human male bodies who are adults and can act as a coffin for 3 people. That's what we did. We all of us, Shooks, Swab, and me, we jumped or climbed to a 10.0 CTB, and Peggy was just bringing around us in the whole station, because in weightlessness, of course, you can do that. So we also had to, try to do some fun. This was our crew, and maybe this is the best time to mention at least the AX-4, because we really don't have too much time now. You know me, I am from Hungary, and actually Alper did a very good intro about myself. I will start with Peggy Witzem. She was our commander. She is the most decorated, I guess, but definitely the most experienced American astronaut to date. From females and from males as well. She spent 695 days in space, including our 20 days in space. She is the best commander, and we were the most lucky that we could have her. And she had well, I definitely won't say privilege, but she had to fly with 3 puppies, 3 new time flyers, including me, but the other 2, the guy next to me, he is Shubhanshu Shukla. He's a fighter pilot, so I don't know if you know this, but fighter pilots, they don't have nicknames, they have call signs, which is another type of nickname, I guess. So his call sign is Shooks, which is a good thing, because saying Shubhanshu Shukla every day can be a hurdle. So we made really, really good friends with this guy. He is one of the wisest people on Earth that I know, even though he's only 40 years old, and he became 40 a month ago. And then the last one, Sławomir Uznański-Wiśniewski, even harder than Shooks. He's also just a little bit older than him. He's from Poland, and he flew in basically under the flag of the European Space Agency. So indeed, 4 nations flying together to a space mission. The other guys, they were the crew of Soyuz MS-27, 3 guys and 4 guys from the crew of Crew 10. In this picture, this is the day when we arrived to station, so 26th of June. You can see 11 people. 11 people, but 6 different nations are on this picture, and out of that 11 people, 7 are rookies, 7 are new time flyers, which tells a lot to me about how space is expanding, how many more countries can access space now, and also that we will actually have, opportunities for new time astronauts. When I told Nicole last November in Germany that I just realized that it will be 7 new time flyers out of 11, we decided that we will do a 7-11 logo for us, which I did, but then I forgot to fly to space. But anyway. Coming back to Earth, on the 15th of July, if you happen to be in California, or Oregon maybe, this is what you saw in the night sky. Again, almost at 2:30, when we were coming back to Earth, and we were in the altitude of 90 and 80 kilometers, we turn ourselves into a fireball for 12 minutes, and this is what we can do on the night sky, which is also pretty awesome. Recapping the mission, we spent 20 days in space. Within that 20 days, we did 320 orbits around the Earth, 320 wonderful and beautiful orbits looking at our planet. We did 8 million miles of spaceflight, did 60 research activities, including those, or actually apart from those, we did 23 outreach events, and we had a lot of partners and a lot of people who were cheering for us. And I guess that's it. Thank you.
I would like to thank Tibor for his presentation, but before he leaves the stage, I would like to congratulate him for his 33rd birthday, which is tomorrow, and 34, turning 34. Congratulations. So, as commercial airspace